Hi everyone, this is Renee Francis with A Matter of Perception. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the little Kyron Horman, who's been missing out of Portland, Oregon for way too long now. Anyway, this case was one that I worked on just days after it happened, and anyway, we've been requested to take a look at it for someone who is actually doing some searches. And so we're going to share what we do, okay? And here is what we do. Matter of perception is actually the study going over 30 years of point of abduction to point of recovery. We've been noting the parallels that are existing between the stars, all the planets, and their positions in the heavens, and the patterns and angles they are making one to the other. And we are flipping them 90 degrees. We're putting them at ground level, and we are using them to narrow down the 360 possible directions that exist when a person goes missing. So anyway, again, this is 30 years. We are releasing hundreds of cases, homicide cases that have been worked on over the years, and we are going through and culling out some criteria for time and location. The most important factor you can have when a person disappears is the exact time and location of the event and where it took place. And we believe that chart erected for that time and that location is going to narrow down the possibilities. So we are going to be sharing with you over the passage of time 100 cases that will support our work, and you can actually see for yourself. Okay, anyway, let's get back to Kyron, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. Anyway, the first thing we need to do is, I'm just going to come down here. There's his map, okay? First thing we have to do when we're looking at a missing children case is we have to determine whether or not are we looking for remains or are we looking for someone who may still be alive. So in order to do that, we need to look at a birth chart, okay? And I've been fortunate enough to get a time of birth for Kyron. Kyron. And so that's what we're going to look at here, okay? So for all of us, this point is the ascendant, and this is the most east point in the horizon when you are born, at the time you are born, and at the location of your birth. This is going to change depending on where you are on the globe, okay? And of course the time. So this rules our head, it rules our part of our health, but this house over here, the sixth, rules our health as well. When you think about this chart, you want to think about the wheel of life, okay? You come in head first, okay? That's why this house rules the head. And then you progress as an infant and you start to learn how to hold things with your hands. So the second house here becomes your possessions, okay? Third, you learn how to speak and write, okay? So this is just a progression of life. Now mommy lets you go out into your own neighborhood by yourself. Okay, fifth house, you start learning what you're good at in your crafts. Sixth house, you're starting to feed yourself, dress yourself. So this is health, okay? Then if this is us and everything about us, then this part here is our opponent, whether that be somebody we marry. Sometimes, a lot of times you'll hear people say, where is your worthy opponent? And that's your other half, right? That's the person you align with, your one-to-one contacts, okay? So if I want to look and see who hurt Kyron, I want to look at this house right here. Okay, but we're still looking for health. So in the matter of Kyron, I'm seeing that Saturn at birth is 28 degrees Gemini. It's only 5 degrees from hitting this ascendant. So this suggests to me, okay, that he could have an early death. All right? His sun in a man's chart, boy's chart, is very vital to his health. The moon is vital for women's health, the sun for male's health. And we see that is square to Pluto. They square. They are 90 degrees away from one another. This Pluto is the planet of death. It's also the corpse, okay? And it's square here. So this is another indication that Kyron could have expired young. And then the last thing I noted, I have that here. And then I want to look at a progressed, and I see that his progressed moon is right here in the 8th house of death. And it's in conjunct, at the time, it's in conjunct his Mars, which would indicate something violent, Okay, so I'm going to suggest for the rest of this video that we are looking for remains and we are not looking for a live Chiron. Okay, all right, so let me erase this. All right, and now what we're going to do is we are going to look for who could hurt him. Okay, and as I said before, if this is Chiron and this is who's going to hurt him, I'm going to look at the ruler here. Okay, now the ruler of this house, 7th house, is also ruling the 8th house of his death, and it's right back here on his ascendant in Gemini. Gemini is a sign of family. Saturn is so close to his ascendant by 5 degrees that this indicates to me that this is somebody who can hurt him, who is close to him, who is in the family. Okay, another thing I'm noting here is that Saturn is making an inconjunct aspect to the Mercury and the Moon for him down here in the 5th house. Okay, so they're making an aspect that is considered an inconjunction. It's not nice. It gives it some power, but let's look at it this way. If this is Chiron's real mom, okay, and I understand that she had to release Kyron over to his dad because of some ill health. Anyway, so this is his real mom down here in the 4th, and that's his Moon and Mercury. So this same aspect here would actually indicate something with her health, but we're looking at somebody that's related in the family to hurt him. And so for Chiron, if this is his mother, this is his father. Okay, the opposite end. And we have a a trine from this point to this point up here that's nearing this part of the father. So this indicates to me with the inconjunction here that this is somebody that is connected to him through the father. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there as far as who could do this to him. Okay, I think that clears up that part of it. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to see where he's located. I'm going to come back to this because what happened is that we are thinking that his stepmom, who seems to be a person of interest in regards to his disappearance. So what I like to look at is a chart for when somebody is lying. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull up this chart is for when his stepmom said that she was driving around. Okay, I want to look at this. I'm going to look at this because this is her talking, okay? And I want to look at this chart and I want to see, is she lying about what she was doing at 10:10 when she told the police this is what she was doing, okay? I'm going to come back to this. And in order to show you, we're going to take a couple of look at another case, okay? So let me undo that. We're going to come back to that. Okay, I'm going to put this down for right now. And we're going to go take a look at the case of Timothy Wiltsey. Okay, he was born on August 6, 1985. I have him set for sunrise in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And his mother reported him missing on May 25th, 1991 at 7:30 p.m. And the police were never able to put him at that carnival. Okay, they've collected people's video and they were never able to ascertain that he was actually there. One of his sneakers were found on October 26th in Raritan Center of Edison, and then the rest of his remains that were scattered were found 11 months later on April 23rd. His mother finally got the guilty verdict on May 18th, and it was all over a blanket. I'll tell you a little bit more about the story. When they first found this sneaker here, I think I remember the mom saying she didn't recognize it as being his sneaker. But that's what she said he was wearing when he was missing. And when they did find him, partial remains here, he had a blanket with him, and that's what nailed her. That's what nailed her in the court, is the blanket. They had witnesses who babysat for Timothy who had said that was his blanket. So, but anyway, let's do this, okay? So this is the chart for when she called police at the Sayreville Carnival at 7:30 p.m., okay? And this is really eerie because we have the sign of Scorpio rising at the time. This is what was going on, okay? Pluto is rising at the ascendant, okay? And it's trine, water signs trine. And it's trining Venus in the house of death already, okay? So she already knew he was dead. She already knew he was dead. Not only that, but the ruler of this house, remember the most east point of the horizon, what's going on at the time, Pluto is the primary ruler, but Mars is a secondary ruler, and it too is in the house of death. So when she decided to say he was missing, she knew he was already expired. Okay? In addition, we have, let me just clear that, or I'll just put it in blue. We have the moon, okay, at the time, it's right here. It's in the house of secrets and hidden things, and it is involved with a Tsquare talking to Mercury, okay? So this is the mother talking, saying that something happened to her third house. So she was under stress, okay? This is stress. A few days later, she changed her story. So this chart actually we got a grand cross here because we got a square here. See this? And we're going to draw that out in our chart. See that? That's a square. That's the pattern we're going to draw out. I'm going to show you in his map. Okay, so everything about this chart is saying she already knew he was gone. Okay, and then let me just show you how the planets worked for that. Okay, I need to shut this down. I need to clear that, and we're going to come down here to the map. Okay, and I'm going to show you. I need to show you this so that when you look at the map we built for Kyron, you're going to see how it works. Okay, so this is Timothy's residence, okay? And this is where, there's the carnival. This is where his first sneaker was found, and this is where his other remains were found, okay? From this point to the carnival is it's a 232 true north vector bearing. So from this point to this point is a 232 vector bearing. So when I know this, then I know that this is a 22, can be expressed as 22 degree Scorpio. So I'm looking in his chart and his mother's chart for that degree and anything that hits that degree. And so what happens is, now from that point, from his residence to the first sneaker, okay, is 298 degrees, and then to the remains is there, okay? Now, mind you, there were all these things right here. Actually, was 4 miles to Edison, okay? So we had, even his chart was giving us distance. His Venus was 4 degrees, and we were getting this right here is 4 miles, I believe, 306, okay? But it's put you close to it. This one is 2, okay? Pluto was 2 degrees at the time of the crime, so we got mileage from the planets, what they measured in their signs for distance here, okay? All right, so I'm just going to pull this down, and now here's the 911 call, okay? This is when she said that she lost him, okay? So if I turn this one on, over her residence, okay, the Venus-Pluto trine, remember that I told you was happening at the time when she phoned, okay, the lie, she already knew he was dead. Isn't it funny that that chart over her own residence is pulling Venus down here where she decides to go and, to pull Pluto down here. Pluto's measuring vector bearing is pulling here, Venus here, and Pisces here. But what we've done is, let me just move this up a little bit. We have made points to make this trine. Okay, so let me just put the points here for you, just so you understand. You can't see the triangle here until I put it here. Okay, so I know that these points are trining, but you might not be able to see them right away. So here's your triangle. Okay, those planets were in trine to one another. Okay, and one of them, Pluto, which was anchored, is pulling down to where she decided to lie about his disappearance. Okay, pretty neat, right? All right, let's get rid of that, and let's shut that one off. Bear with me here. Okay. Then his 911 call, we had a moon square Pluto. Okay, so now we have what's happening is a T-square. Let me see, do I have that down here? Where's the gone? Let me just go up here for real quick. Okay, remember I told you about that T-square? All right, remember I told you the T-square was here with the moon? Give me a minute. Moon here to Saturn. See the T? Okay, now we're going to put that T. We're going to put that T on the map. See it? See the T? Okay, so even the chart for when she lied is actually given us right to where his remains were recovered there. Okay? So the people can't lie, folks. It's in the stars. I mean, even if they're lying, it's in the stars. And even when they're lying, they're kind of giving us the direction of where they're going when they're lying. So this is just one of the ones that I wanted to show you that is similar to Kyron's case so that we could pay attention to it, okay? One more thing. Let me shut the 911 call down, okay? Now I'm going to give you Timothy's birth chart over his resonance, okay? So I'm going to turn it on. There's his 1 mile Neptune measured that she went to go to the carnival to lie about where he went. Then there's your 2 mile Pluto, where his rest of his skeletal remains were found. Okay. Then we have his Mars Neptune opposition is giving us a T. Okay. So even over his birth chart, over his residence, the true north vector bearing was 308. Okay. Hold on. Let's go back up and get his chart. Where's his chart? Okay, here he is. Okay, so we had a T, right? We had his Mars and his Jupiter and his Pluto. T. Okay? See it? Pulling over here. It's the aspect. Pulling right out to where his remains were recovered. Okay? So that was his Mars-Jupiter opposition that I just showed you. Let's dump this one. This is his Mercury Saturn sextile. If I turn that on, now, oh no, this is his Mercury Saturn square, okay? So remember, let's go down here. I'm going to show you how this works. It's not really all that hard. Okay, so he had a Mercury Saturn. Let's do this here in blue. We had a Mercury. Oh, come on. Mercury here, Saturn here, square. Okay, these are square to one another. The opposite end of here is, the opposite end of this is here, and the opposite end of this is here. So when I match them all up, now you see the square. Okay, and that's what you're going to see. Let's dump it here. Oh, dump it, and then let's go back up to the map, and then there's the square. Okay, so in his square, you're saying that his the IP that finishes it, the square, is close to this Red Root Creek. Okay, so it's a little bit off. See where he was found? Right here. Okay, Red Root Creek, and this is where the vector bearing is. So it was in this area. Now, this area is the Raritan River, so it all floods over here. So we're, and this was over months, 11 months from him, from the point of disappearance to when he was recovered. So anyway, that's Timothy Wiltsey. Now, do you think his mom can get away with this as far as her birth star? So let's turn Timothy off. Okay, and we'll turn that off. Now let's look at his mom. Okay, Michelle Odzinski. All right, she had her when she was born, her Mercury was 1 degree. Let's turn that on. Now this is the pink line over. Oh, I need to shut these off, the blue. And then we had 3 miles. So when his first sneaker was found over here, her Mercury's given us distance, and then her Jupiter's given us distance, and then her Mercury's given us distance to when she went, where she went to the carnival. Okay, the day was missing. Excuse me. Now she had a Sun-Neptune conjunction. Don't I have her chart up here? Where is his mother? Where is she? Here she is, right here. Okay, so she had a, let's get a yellow here. She had a Sun-Neptune conjunction, okay? So we pulled this out in Tsquare because they're very powerful, okay? So, and it squared her moon because her moon was here in Aquarius. So we went this way and we went that way. So we had a square here, okay? If I'm going to connect them all together, I'm going to get a square. All right, so if we go back up to our map, I'm sorry that I have to move all these, draw out all these squares and stuff for you, but I want you to actually see what's happening here. So that's her square, vectored out. The one goes out here to where she said she lost them, okay? We're doing both of them because remember there she has 2 vector lines going here because the Sun and Neptune were conjunct heading right here, okay? And then this is her moon, which is coming out near the area of the Red Root Creek. Now, mind you, again, one of the sneakers was found here, and then the tire around in this area is where it was found. But this area gets flooded, you know, during storms and stuff. So, you know, they were thinking that a lot of things got moved around. And anyway, that is the case of Timothy Wilsey. So, finally, he got closure, and his mom is doing time for the crime. And anyway, you can come back and look at this page and play with that, look at it a little bit closer. And so right now what we're going to do is we're going to look at Susan Smith, the mom who said that she got carjacked, and we later learned that's something else is happening, right? So here's the lie chart, okay? She had said that, I'm sorry, this is getting to be a little long, okay? But she said that she, 9/12, that somebody carjacked her, okay, and took her babies, okay? Mercury, so we're looking at this point, okay? Mercury's here, and it's square here, okay? So she already knew, again, 8th house is being called in. She already knew there was something, that those boys were dead. She already knew. Okay, see the same thing that I showed you in Timothy Wilsey. Again, you can come back here to look at this page. Okay, I'm going to move on a little bit more quickly here so I can show you same thing here with the maps. Okay, I need to go to my, let me refresh this page. Remember to always refresh your pages when you come back. Okay, so I'm still in Perth Amboy here with Timothy Wilsey. We need to go down here to South Carolina. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so here is, bear with me. Okay, here we go. All right, let me shut this off so I can explain to you how this works. I'm going to show you the same thing that what happened with Timothy is going to happen here. Okay, they can't get away with their lies. All right, so this right here is the residence, okay? This is John D. Long Lake, okay, where she let the car roll in with the boys. The vector bearing from that point to that point is 073, which can otherwise be expressed as 13 degrees Gemini, okay? It was 8.3 miles from the residence to the lake. So there you have it, okay? This is her 911 call that she was lying about, okay? If I turn this on, look what we got, okay? The ascendant and Mercury, remember I told you they were square? The same planet that was rising at the ascendant that she decided to lie at 9/12 is giving us direction right to John D. Long, okay? That's how powerful this work is. If I turn this off, okay, and if I turn on Tyler, his birth stars, he had a Sun-Jupiter sextile. All his stuff is right here, okay? I'm telling you, you can come back here on your own actually to peruse this. but his sextile. Now here's the thing, what's happening here. He went on the finished sextile, okay? These two lines, the sun's anchored, okay? The sun is here and Jupiter's here, and they are 60 degrees away from one another. But in order for me to finish the sextile to show you the whole star that the sextile makes, I have to give you an imaginary point this way, this way, this way, and this way. So all these, his sun sextiles this point too. And that's what we do. So in some cases, what was happening over the 30 years of this work was that we were finding in most of the cases that the vector for the planets are pulling right out to the point of recovery. And then at some points, we were getting that there wouldn't be a planet pulling there. We're like, well, how is that? Anyway, during the course of teaching my student, I was getting a little angry with her for not actually learning her aspects quick enough. And so I forced her. I said, we're not going to go any further until you learn what makes a sextile, a trine, a square. And the next thing I know, this brilliant young lady has went back and looked at some of these cases and said, guess what? They're found on the imaginary point that finishes the aspect. So it totally blew everything out of proportion. And so now when we work on a new case, okay, we are confident. Let's go to Kyron. Okay. When we work on a new case, we are actually confident that we are going to nail where they are. Okay. So this is what we did for Kyron. All right, sweetheart, it's time to come home. Okay. This is Kyron's birth chart. This is when he was gone, okay? We looked and we got all the planetary patterns that were existing, okay, at the time. I've highlighted them for the high probability where I think he is, based on what I've showed you and learned during the course of looking at other cases. This is his birth chart with all the planetary patterns. I highlighted what I think is important in his case where I need you to look. When you come to his page, there will be a video. The link to this video is going to be right here, so you can click on it and go watch it again. Again, remember always to refresh the page. Now we're going to get down here. I'm pretty much at 27 minutes here, but anyway, I think it's worth the time. So what's going to happen here when you get to his chart? This is what you're going to say. Okay, I've turned this one on. This is Kyron's birth chart over his own residence with his Mars-Neptune conjunction turned on. Okay, I turned on that planetary aspect. Okay, the funny thing about this aspect is if when you look at it from far out, it looks like, okay, I don't know, it's a little spooky to me. Okay, anyway, I would like you to pay attention to this area immediately. Okay, now I've always, during the whole course of this case, even when it happened a long time ago, I was always looking up here along this vector line up here. So I was looking up, going up this 930 along the railroad. Okay, because there's railroad tracks. That's right over here. Now, another thing that's bothering me is that there is a whole railroad yard over here. Okay, so I have highlighted some areas over here. What this map is not to replace sound investigative procedures. It is to work alongside of it. What do you know from cell phone pings to relationships of people who your persons of interest are involved with? Okay, anybody working on these lines? Okay, so that's just his Mars-Neptune conjunction. Okay, all his radiuses are built out for all the possible miles. I went 139 just to cover my butt. Okay, but you can turn on 28, you can turn on 26, just turn them on, turn them off. If you look at this chart with everything on, it's too overwhelming. You can't look at it that way. Okay, you'll cry your eyes out. Where is he? You want to look at it, everything one at a time, and where you, and then, what's working, what's talking to you as far as what, the investigation is uncovering, okay? So let me put this down. So these are all hot spots that I did, okay? You could turn them all on or off. If I go like this, you're going to see them all. I hardly ever did any hot spots going out in this direction. I just don't think he's here. If he's anywhere, he's got to be in this orbiting this area right in here. So those are those suggestions, and then you can always just, go out, come in. This map you should work with this map. You could, I want to know who works over here that they know. I want to know. I've always wondered if maybe stepmom handed him off to somebody else who took care of hiding him. That maybe she was the one who actually, it was her hand that caused his death, but that she actually had help hiding him. So anyway, we have the two persons of interest here. Okay, so I can turn him off. Okay, I can turn him off and I can go, here's all my locations. Okay, here's Kyron's residence. So Kyron's residence has his birth chart over it. Okay, and then they're in here. If you open this up, these are all his aspects that I told you about. Okay, there's a lot of them. Okay, that's the moon, but don't turn the moon on without turning something else off. Look to where things are happening over and over again. Some of these aspects are pointing right back into the same area that another aspect pointed to. Okay, so that's Kyron. If I can shut him off like that, and I can turn on Terry, but I put her over the resonance. So where's her stuff pulling out? When she was doing that little hour drive, where was she? Where's the cell phone ping? Because I think my partner had put a cell phone ping in here. Not sure how accurate that is, but look for cell phone pings. Again, you can actually, these are the gyms and stuff that where she went and worked out. They can be all turned on, see where the vector lines are going over. All her radiuses and distance are here. Okay, I set my attention right here. Okay, maybe I think I got the furthest one on is 15 miles. I don't think she went any further than that. Then we got her female friend here. Okay, I turned her on, but she's not over the residence. She's over her own place of employment, which is, where's her employment? Right there. Okay, and I put her on. So if she handed her off to her friend, then where could her friend gone? And you start to see the same lines pulling over in the same places, but actually all of these things are on. We need to shut some of them off. Let's shut some of them off. Okay. And so if we turn this moon on, let me see. I think it was this one I liked. I think this was the one I liked for her. Okay. So this is the square that it makes. Now, don't let the thing bother you. Just like I said, go in. What do you have? Don't be afraid to use this map alongside with another, with Google Maps up in another browser and go back and forth. All I can tell you is if you work this map and you work each one of these vector bearings, okay, turn them on, turn them off, and you go and you explore. Okay, go and explore. See, even this one's going over their house, residence. Okay, look at this one, it's coming over here. You gotta know like what's happening with the investigation. This one I really like too. I want to know who they know that works over here in this area, who could have helped them. I don't think I trust either one of these women by what I see in their stars. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. And if you have any questions, I'm here for them. Again, it's not magic. You really have to work the map, turn things on, turn things off. And like I said, you can turn on the Moon-Pluto folder. That has the Moon-Pluto sextile. Another thing, I just want to show you this. See this here? While you're on a desktop, you can open this wide so it goes over your whole screen. But you won't be able to, the column will go away. So in order to get the column back, to look at another folder of another aspect, planetary pattern, you'll have to just hit your escape key and then open up another folder. So you have stepmom, you have her friend, you have Kyron, then we even have the event over the school, okay, when he was last seen at 8:45. Okay, we even have that one over the school. So you can turn that one on, see where everything's going. Okay, remember how I showed you the ones in the event for Susan and Timothy. And look, same lines going over the same places. Okay, So there you have it. I'm going to leave it there. I am going to wish you luck. If you have any questions, I am here for your answers. Always up for a phone conversation. And anyway, might be time to bring this little guy home. I have faith and I believe in miracles, and hopefully there'll be some justice for this little guy. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting our work. Ciao.